Happy champ.
There we go.
All right, there we go.
Cool. Champ, how are you doing tonight?
It's funny because the Nats are playing the Giants right now, and I'm actually sitting here watching The Fan from 1996, which is centered around the San Francisco Giants. So a bit of irony there, but I'm doing all right. How you guys doing?
Yeah,
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Yeah, I do want to give a little update. They're still up 5-0, middle of the fourth. Baltimore ended up losing their game 3-0. As those were two games I was watching. And then also I want to say the Golden State Warriors are up 33-30 over the Lakers with 7:25 left in the first half. And Vegas is still up 5-1 at the top of the third. But Champ, we have a XFL team to break down, and they're in the championship game. I know you wanted to give your thoughts on them before the championship game, but so what are your thoughts going into this one?
So, I mean, you look at this on paper and it clearly favors the defenders in terms of like stats and stuff. I mean, the defenders scored 138 points in the 10 games this past season. That's nearly a 14-point average per game, which is why they led the league in scoring, and which is one of the reasons why Jordan Ta'amu was the offensive player of the year. They scored 33 touchdowns with 20 successful conversions, 18 of them from 2 points. They had a pretty decent passing game with 2,035 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions to the Renegades 1763 with only 5 passing touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And then, of course, we know that the rushing game was one of the best in the XFL, and the Renegades rushing game was pretty decent to say the very least. So on paper, it looks like the defenders should run away with this game. But we saw what the Renegades did with Houston a week before in the South Division Championship game. They took a Houston team that was really good, and they were able to beat them. So I sit here with cautious confidence. I don't know if that's even a term, but I'm going to make it a term. Cautious confidence. Yes, we should theoretically, by our stats and how we played this entire season, we should theoretically blow these guys out of the water and be the XFL champions. But that's not a guarantee, because clearly Arlington has gotten hot at the right time, and that's where it counts. Is you get hot at the right time, you can take any team you want. So I have cautious confidence that this team can beat Arlington, but it's going to be a very troublesome one. And it's crazy because there's the offensive line coach for Arlington actually already holds an XFL championship. He played offensive line for the Los Angeles Extreme, who are the only listed XFL champions in the history of this league. So it's crazy that they already have an XFL champion on their bench who could potentially be a part of a team that could potentially be the second XFL champion if DC doesn't handle their business. But they just have to handle their business, run the ball the way they're supposed to run. Jordan Ta'amu plays the way that he does. They use that two-headed monster playing the Wildcat. And I think that they can really, really, really do some damage and really win the XFL championship. So I'm very, very confident that they can win. But again, it's a cautious confidence because Arlington was able to deal with Houston with not a lot of problems, but they were able to do it. So I'm hoping that DC can do it, but we'll see. I'm confident, but we'll see.
Carol, I want to get some of your thoughts on that. I know that for people who are tuning in late, we did have a wonderful interview with Carol and Dugenay. You can check it out on SportsOTHP.com. They got to interview the coach of this team going into the championship in 15 solid minutes, really asked a bunch of good questions, and it was a lot of fun. And we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, all the stuff that you talked about. But Carol, coming out of that interview, anything that you were able to glean and your thoughts going into the championship game?
Like the coach mentioned, Arlington has a solid defensive front. They got two defensive tackles, one of them 6'5", 330. That's hard to move. I mentioned in week 9 when they played the Renegades, they were held without a rushing touchdown for only the second time in the season. And I believe with the way that they opened up the offense towards the end of the year with the passing game, I think that's going to play a key in this game because they're going to, like you say, try to stack up the box and stop the run. So we're going to have to, get the ball to some of the wideouts and tight ends to open things up so they can open the running game up and, do like Chance said, handle their business because, in every aspect of this game on paper favors the defenders. And as long as they go handle their business, which I feel they will, the coaches had them prepared all season. They practice hard, so they play hard. So he's definitely have them ready to go out there and do their job, and play their best. Like I said, they took the loss to the Guardians, who were at that time the only team that didn't have a win. And at that point, DC was still undefeated, and they took that loss. So I think that's definitely going to play in their favor. And I think that they're going to, handle their business. And before we finish up the finish talk, that they announced the all XFL team, and players on those teams in DC is represented very well. On the defensive side, starting to get a little older. Got to make this a little bit bigger now. He's making his type so small. You got Davin Bellamy, defensive line / linebacker on the defense. Michael Joseph, defensive back for the defense. And on the offensive side of the ball, Jordan Teyamu, Abram Smith, and Lucky Johnson, all were named all XFL on the offense side of the ball. And team MVP, as I always said about Tressway for the Commanders, you had my man Daniel Whelan made the all XFL team as a punter. So this team is stacked. This team is ready to play. And I feel this team is going to handle their business on Saturday. And everything is going to be all right. We'll be having another championship brought back to the city.
Yep. So Saturday at 8:00. It's going to be a big game. It's on ABC. So I'm happy it's nationally televised. So everyone can check that out here in the United States. And it's been a really incredible season and an incredible run. I'm hoping there's never been a second season, by the way. They've started this thing a couple of times, but they never got it off the ground. They've already announced that they're coming back for a season 2. And I would love the first time that they could do that, there would be the championship would be here. And I really hope that we're able to update some of these graphics, Carol, and have a championship winning show. Because some of my favorite shows we've now done, this is our 309th episode. And some of my favorite ones have been the championship ones where we've celebrated the Valor, we've celebrated the Mystics, we celebrated the Capitals, and we celebrated the Nationals. So I'm hoping to add a 5th team this year. And I'm really excited about it. And I'll definitely we'll be breaking down the scoring and how it all went down, and we'll have special guests on, especially if it's a win. I have a bunch of people I want to have call in, and maybe have some previous guests like Stuart call in. And I remember having the fans call in after the other championships. That was really great. So that's why next week's timing is going to be to be determined, because it'll, how many segments we dedicate to XFL will probably depend on if they win or if they lose. But stay tuned for all that information next week. For sure, I'll announce it on Sunday, the timing of the show, like when to tune in for what, and we'll do graphics and things like that. But Champ, I love that you've been able to break it down all season with us. I want you to give your final thoughts on this before we let you go. Also after you're done with your final thoughts, and let us know about your No Spots podcast as well.
Well, I'm very excited that there's a possibility that we could have another championship come here to DC. It would be great to see that. I'm lucky enough that I was alive the last time a football team from DC won a major championship. But I would love to see it happen again here with the Defenders, and I would love to see it. I think the football fan base in DC is yearning for a championship, so I think it will happen. They just got to handle business. So just let's handle business on Saturday night. Let's bring that championship home. And as for No Spots, it's going to be a busy week, because in Japan this week it's the beginning of the Best of the Super Juniors 30 tournament on Friday. So on Thursday, myself and Sage will be streaming on Twitch to give our preview for the start of the tournament. It's going to be a very busy tournament with 12 events over 16 days. So it's going to be a hectic, quick tournament, but we're going to cover it all from beginning to end. And then on Saturday, myself and Sith are going to be back with the weekly wrestling podcast where we will recap what was an amazing WWE Backlash event that took place, which had a hot crowd in Puerto Rico, one of the hottest wrestling crowds I've seen in a very long time, at least for WWE. We're going to talk about all of that and more, plus all the fallout from Backlash, including with the new rosters after the WWE draft, including the triple threat matches that are taking place on Raw tonight and SmackDown to determine who are going to face off for the newly made WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That's all this week on the No Spots Weekly Wrestling Podcast. You can check us out on twitch.tv/True No Spots Pod, or you can check out the podcast partners button on SportsOTHP.com for the audio version.
Champ, you're awesome. I appreciate all the coverage this year and talking basketball and football with us and everything. And I look forward to talking to you next week, win or lose, and we'll wrap up this whole. But I hope that it's a win for sure.
Absolutely. No quigueño. Sayonara.
All right, brother.
All right. I'm going to switch up our graphics one last time. We're going to go back to the hockey graphics. We'll bring in our two special guests back. The end of the fifth inning, Nationals lead the Giants 5-0. Thank you, Scorebot, for the update. Vegas is up 5-1, still 10:45 left in the third, and the Lakers have taken the league over the Golden State Warriors 40-38 with 3:41 left in the first half there in that game. So lots of exciting sports all across. I enjoy talking playoffs and things like that. I'm going to let each one of you guys talk your final thoughts about some hockey, and then we're going to have Josh talk about his new single and play it for us, and then we'll call it a night. But I'm going to start off with you, Ryan. We've talked about all the different teams. Is there anything else that you wanted to address either with your own team or any of those other series before we give our final thoughts?
Well, I wanted to mention, just like I enjoy, rooting for newer teams, and kind of seeing fan bases grow. I also remember what it was like to go 10 years without seeing your team go to the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is not the same as like the almost, the really long first round exit streak that the Maple Leafs had to deal with. But I was also rooting pretty heartily for the Maple Leafs in the first round as well. So I was very happy to see that for you, Josh, and all the other good Maple Leafs fans out there. So congrats on that.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. They've kind of been my adopted team in the East. I really wanted them to do well, which is why I'm sort of fearful. It's just so interesting because it's like they thought that it was going to be easier in some ways to play Florida than Boston, right? I mean, if you're in a choice between those two, I think everyone wants the wild card team, but it hasn't worked out that way. But Josh, what are some of your thoughts? In either that series or any of the other series?
Yeah, I mean, I think with that series as kind of a microcosm, it just shows that the mental aspect of this game is so crucial. And the idea that, you don't just want the veteran players there to explain how things are done in the playoffs, but there's a mentality, there's a mindset, there's a way of looking and focusing on this stuff that comes with experience. And the only way that you can gain that experience is having those losses lead to that win. And that's the one thing that I think the Leafs are getting close to, but haven't quite gotten yet, is that leading to that win and that learning from those moments in the past. And the Florida thing is a perfect example because the fan base did the exact same thing that I assume the players were doing when they were like, oh, great, we don't have to take on Boston. This is terrific. Florida, come on. And then you realize that you're in a situation that you're unprepared for because you developed this expectation around it instead of focusing on it's round 2, it's another round. We're not there yet. Keep going. That's the thing that the veteran players, and that, I would imagine that Tavares, being the kind of person that he is, would try and instill in his younger players and his assistant captains is that, hey guys, like, it's another round, it's another game. Let's focus on what we've got to do, not who we're up against. And hopefully, with all of these experiences that they're gaining and potentially some different, whether it's trades or whether it's drafts, leading into this next season, they can kind of take that experience and build on it and actually create that franchise that, we as Toronto fans believe that they can be.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this series goes, and if they're able to even steal one, and then you win one at home, and then it can snowball. So you just never know. And hockey's a weird sport, a weird fluky injury, a weird fluky bounces.
Absolutely.
And I've seen some pretty crazy stuff change. So I'm at least hoping for that. It's been some weird breaks between games for you guys. You had 2 days between the last two. You have 2 days again between these two. I'm hoping that maybe that stifles some of their momentum, dissipates it, and it
Or
gives you
kind of
an
changes it in
opportunity.
the Leafs locker room. Like
Yeah,
sometimes 48 hours can change everything,
right. Exactly. It's an extra day to think about it, which, maybe is good, maybe it's bad. It's bad for the fans because they have to stew on it, but maybe good for the players because they can rehab a little bit
Absolutely.
and, get healthier, for an important game. But I know that it's going to be agony as you try to wait towards Wednesday, for the next game. All right, Ryan, any final thoughts that you have? And you're more than welcome to stay for the musical number too, but I wanted to get your final thoughts on before we switch gears.
Oh yeah. There's actually this is kind of funny. There's actually a few you might be aware. I know you're aware of at least some of them, but there are a few Hurricanes connections with the Florida Panthers, with Paul Maurice being the original head coach of the Hurricanes, and of course Eric Stahl still playing, and then oh wow, and then this is the one that I'm gonna have trouble. Even myself, I'm gonna have trouble remembering. The wrong name is coming to my head. There's another forward on the Panthers that has some experience with the Hurricanes, but from several years ago. So now I'm not even remembering who he was. So he's kind of a role player, but anyway, so yeah, so it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of funny, like you said, it's a weird experience sometimes, like especially with a player that maybe didn't work out in some ways for your team, and then they're like finding success on a new team. It's like, oh, I mean, just kind of goes to show, I mean, just how competitive and how situational this sport can be. Sometimes you just need a different situation to find success.
And it's interesting you say that because two of the teams that are having the most success are ones where it's a whole team of people finding a new team, right? Vegas, is the longest you could be there is just a couple of years, right? And then
Right.
and obviously the same thing with Seattle. So it's sort of interesting to see how these newer teams are able to gel a little bit faster at seemingly than some of the older teams, which it's hard to have that turnover, and so it's gonna be interesting to see how that all plays out. Carol, any final thoughts on the hockey playoffs before we switch gears?
No, just as always, it's always exciting. You never know what's going to happen or who's going to come out or who's going to get hot. All the series are interesting, and it's going to be a new champion. I believe all the teams that's left haven't won in a minute, so we'll have a new champion, and we'll see where things go from there.
Yep, the last one who's won it that's still around is the Hurricanes, and they haven't done it in quite some time. So it's been over 15 years if I remember. So, it's interesting for sure that we've got a bunch of new teams in there. All right, so I'm going to try something real quickly and see if I can pin Josh here on Zoom, and then I'm going to have Carol and Ryan, mute your Zooms real quick, just because I think that it'll sound better. Sure. And sorry, just give me 1 second. I've just been a little bit since I've done this. So if we pin Josh, then it should make it larger. And let me see how that looks on my screen. Cool. And all right, Josh, I want you to explain, first of all, when the new single is coming out, what the new single is, and then if you could play it for us, that'd be great.
Absolutely. So I've been working on this music for a while now, and the journey to get here was really, really cool because it was the first time that I ever stepped into the producer role as well as being the songwriter and the artist. So all of these songs have, from the very beginning of them to the very end, like they are a part of me, and there is so much of me in them, which is really cool. Virginia was a really cool track because it started with this idea that I had, this kind of longing feeling for someone. And these feelings that I would experience being on the road and being away from the people that you love, and particularly the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And the idea that what you do contributes so much to who you are, but at the same time, that what you do can also take you away from the people that light you up inside sometimes. And so I wanted to put this thing out there to send a message like, I'm still there, you're still there. Let's, kind of keep the faith kind of idea. And that idea of love and faith, and love being a kind of pseudo-religious experience, if you will, all kind of found its way into this song. And so Hold On Virginia is the latest single that is going to be released, and it is coming out June 16th. And if you want, we have a pre-save link that is available, and you can pre-save it on whatever streaming service you like. It is going to come out on all of them, and we are super excited to have this song out there. I can't wait for you guys to hear it in the full-blown way that we have produced it. And I'm going to play a little acoustic version for you right here. So this is Hold On Virginia. Oh, 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 oh. You still wake up at 2 a.m. talking in your sleep. Does your right hand rest beside you? Does it still reach? Was that? Well, I think I'm getting a little echo. Here we go. I'm going to try it again.
I was trying to turn on the audio to try to do the monitoring for the thing, but it didn't work. I don't know why. Anyway, it's
Oh, no worries, man.
over. Yeah.
All good. All good. All right, y'all. Hold On Virginia, take 2. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. You still wake up at 2 a.m. talking in your sleep. Does your right hand rest beside you? Does it still reach out to me? It's like it's been forever since I last saw your face. Felt that sweet redemption in the way you say my name. Lost count of all the miles between your heart and mine. But your memory fills my lungs with air and keeps my love alive. The words will lose their meaning until they're proven true. No walls, no floods, no act of God will keep me away from you. So hold on, Virginia. Hold on to me. Not believe in heaven, not believe in fate, providence and piety. I'd given up my faith. Till the day that I first met you, I found my faith again. I swear to the Lord above, you are heaven sent. So hold on, Virginia. Hold on to. No matter where I go, you'll always be my heart, my everything. So hold on to me. Oh, 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 oh. The surrender in the silence that occupies my mind, clouded visions of the shadows of righteousness and pride. If our love be my downfall, I will take my fall from grace. Wear it like a thorny crown as I sing out your name. As I lay here in the darkness, finding everything but sleep, I pray God leads you to my thoughts and you my soul to keep. Forever is a promise, and as long as I'm alive, I promise, babe, I'm coming home. Please say that you'll be mine. Hold on, Virginia. Hold on to me. Hold on, Virginia. Hold on to me.
I think I figured out what I did wrong. I turned on the original sound for musicians, but then the other device had echo on it. Can I try something real quickly? Just try playing a solo real fast. I want to see if this would have fixed it.
Absolutely.
No, it's still suppressed. So Zoom is just gonna. I don't think it works on my Zoom to fix it. It's okay. It sounded, your vocal sounded great. It's just, it's hard to pick up the guitar on the thing.
Yeah, a little bit. We're in the middle of a construction in the house right now, and so I'm like doing like a room mic situation.
Yeah, no problem. No, yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna bring myself back on, but it was great. I love your vocals, but everyone should go check out the audio, or definitely check out Josh next time he's streaming for the full experience as well. So
Appreciate that.
There's only so much Zoom can do. So I appreciate it sounded great. Your vocals are awesome. I just wish
Thank
that
you.
Zoom did a better job picking up guitars, but you know, I can't control what Zoom can do.
Right.
But that was great. So I have put the link in chat to all your socials and all
I
that
appreciate
stuff.
that, man. Thank you.
And I'm sure through the socials you can find the link to the pre-save
Absolutely.
and stuff.
Hey,
So
hey, Josh, so where are you based out of, Josh?
Based out of Toronto, Canada. You know,
Oh.
I've spent a lot of time traveling. I've, been to the UK, spent a lot of time over there. Was in Nashville for about 6 or 7 years, and then the pandemic hit. I came back home to Toronto for a bit and realized, with everything being so remote and accessible now, I can really be anywhere and be everywhere. So Toronto's home for the time being.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, Robbie, shoot him my Gmail account, and feel free to shoot me any of his music that you have. I have another show that I'm on called At the Bar Radio, where we play only independent music, and we don't discriminate.
Right.
We play country, rock, hip hop, everything. So yeah, send some of the tracks over, and we'll definitely get you in rotation on some of it. And once we get everything set up in the studio, my new studio that I'm getting together now, we definitely gonna have you on for an interview and pub your stuff and get let folks hear your music.
Oh, CP, that would be awesome. I would love that.
Hey man, that's what we do, man. We network, man. You part of Team SportsOTHP now. Once you come on, you part of the team. So hey, you got music. We don't have a problem. We play it on our show.
Oh,
I
right
play,
on.
music, and then I do videos. I put, lace tracks on there sometimes. So hey, that's what we do, man.
Fantastic. I love it.
No problem.
You gotta love being there for family, right?
Hey man, that's what it's all about, man.
I was thinking Josh, was a big proponent on helping us, get to affiliate, 2 years ago, helping, get the last couple of followers I needed and people checking out the streams. And then it was a big lead up that we had to that big Josh interview 2 years ago. And during that lead up, I actually hit affiliate, my very first affiliate streams. We celebrated 2 years affiliate last week, was my interview with Josh about, we did a short series. I was hoping to do it as a longer series, but life with 2 children, it gets tough. But I'm so happy that we got to do that one with Josh and Carly, where we got to learn more about his backstory and his love of sports, because we know them as musicians, but to get to hear some of their love of sports and streaming. And Ryan, you were always like one of the people I wanted to get on that show. So I'm happy that even though I haven't gotten you on that show, and hopefully that will eventually get itself out of hiatus, I'm happy that we were able to talk to you about your favorite team, and both of you guys still being in the playoffs, and hopefully in a couple of weeks maybe you guys will still be in it, and maybe you guys can come back. So that would be awesome.
That would be amazing. And if not, then I'm putting my hat in the ring for Carolina for sure. If the Leafs can't, then Carolina's got to.
Right, sounds good. Well, Josh, thank you so much for playing on this stream, and the extra time, and being on for so long. And same thing with you, Ryan. I think you guys are both great. Real quickly before I let you guys go, Ryan, when is your next stream on Twitch? You don't know? Okay, well,
sorry about that. My next stream will be Wednesday morning, around 10:30 Eastern. I am very excited though that this Saturday I'm gonna be co-hosting the New Tune Showcase with Irene Pena Music. So that's gonna be real fun. A bunch of singer-songwriters get together and we perform original songs for each other. We have a little chatting, and then at the end of the stream, everybody debuts a new song that they wrote, kind of based on a shared prompt. It's a really awesome forum experience. It's one of my favorite Twitch events, so I'm really, just as a viewer, so I'm like really excited to participate in it.
Well, you're a host, and one of the previous hosts just a couple of months ago was Josh. So I know I remember modding for that one, and Josh had a great appearance, and also as an alumni, as both being on it before, but then also as a host, so a second time person. So it's cool that I had both of you guys, and big shout out to Irene Pena Music.
Sure.
And hopefully people check out that E-flat guys stream this weekend, where it'll be simul streamed on yours and hers. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. So it'll be on both of our channels. So
sounds
I
good.
remember Ryan's a great writer. Like there was I did a duet stream with Voice Unmuted like a while ago. I think it was the first Valentine's Day one that we did together, and Ryan actually wrote a song that we played for the first time on that stream, and it was really good.
thanks.
Like
Josh.
it's
Awesome.
yeah, I can't wait to see what you come up with for that song prompt, man.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, I'm so happy that we got to have both you guys on. It's been a super fun stream. I'm gonna let Carol wrap it up here on his end. And then you guys can stay for 2 extra minutes on, we'll do a post show. But Carol, why don't you do your final thoughts, and we'll just end the live stream for Facebook, and then I can talk to Ryan and Josh on stream for a couple minutes after that.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate as always everybody tuning in, checking us out. We enjoy bringing you the best sports coverage around. You check me out Sunday nights at the Bar Radio around 6:00, talking sports, current events, politics, entertainment news, independent music, and playing the best independent music videos around. Excuse me, go check out the YouTube channel, Carol Porter III with 3 eyes. Check out all the live feeds, the videos, the highlights. Check out the interview we did with Coach Barlow last week, along with our breakdown of the Commanders off season. Be on the lookout on my Facebook page and Instagram. As I mentioned last week and on At the Bar, I'm now officially licensed in Maryland and in the process of Virginia for life, health, and annuity, life insurance, health insurance, and annuity, and financial services. So if you have any questions or want to get a financial snapshot of where you are now and where you'll be looking at a retirement age and want to improve that, or you're happy, stand pat, hit me up. No obligation, no charge. We'll give you that snapshot for free. If you want to improve your situation, then we can sit down and talk. But be on the lookout. We're going to have videos coming out. The YouTube channel going to be popular with insurance information, because it's a lot of things folks don't know about insurance, and it has a lot of benefits. So I'm going to educate you and learn you a thing or two about life insurance, how to help your well-being along with your family, friends, and to secure your future and your wealth. And on that note, I'm out of here. DC Sports Water Politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. CP3 live from the lab, and I'm out.
Recording stopped.
Carol is out on his end, and we're out on my Facebook feed. And so thank you guys. We're doing a new thing where we intro and outro, still live on Twitch, so we're still here, but you get to a show within a show, if you will, right? Because
Right.
I was so panicked trying to get 3 things started at once.
Yeah.
Carol start his feed, I start my feed, then we got to do a Facebook live feed that turns into the audio podcast. It's a lot, and it's to start all of that at one time to try to time that.
Sure.
Very difficult. So I'm like, we're just going to talk for a little before and after, and then we can, get things going. And then I can, talk to you guys and let Carol go and finish the sports side of it. But I thank you so much for being a part of this. And it's super fun to talk sports with you guys. And it's fun because I usually moderate you. I'm usually in chat, but it's fun to see you face to face to get to have a conversation about your favorite teams, and I'm obviously bummed my team isn't involved at all, but it's always fun to get to hear your perspective, and I really do hope that it's the most miraculous comeback for Toronto.
That would be nice. That would be lovely.
That'd be super fun.
Yeah,
That would be insane.
I would love that, 'cause I don't really feel strongly about Florida in any way, so I'm kind of surprised they even have a team, to be totally honest, because there's so many cities in this country that I wonder if they would have a.
The funny thing about that is you've got so many Canadians that go down to Florida and come to the games.
They
and
tried to limit tickets to all
Yeah.
of Canada,
Well,
and then they couldn't sell out the game, and they're like, just kidding, like please
Exactly.
come to the game. Like, so I thought that was pretty, and it was pretty loud when they scored the opening goal.
Oh yeah,
Toronto,
there's a
so,
lot of Toronto fans down in Florida.
yeah, for sure.
I was.
I do want to say quickly that the Oilers game did just finish.
They did.
Dominate that game, so it was 5-1, I believe, was the final score. Do I still have the scoreboard up? I do. So 5-1 for Vegas, so they take a 2-1 lead in that series, so be interesting to see how game 4 goes in that one. But so tomorrow night is going to be a big game though in New Jersey. It'll be interesting to see how they end up responding to allowing that many goals.
Yeah.
Do you think that they go with the backup goalie who's been sick versus just trying to put the main goalie in again?
I mean, they did this throughout the regular season. Like, they haven't really, even during the regular season, it was kind of a tandem 1A, 1B, where even if one was playing well, they would still switch things up and try to keep them rested. So I think that's what they would do. If Ranta is ready to go, he'll be the one to start, I think. And it doesn't, and again, it's kind of interesting, it's different. I think their ideas is that the difference, the gulf between them isn't so great, that like having one of them be fresh and be ready to go, just be not have any aches or anything, is more valuable than somebody trying to push through and soldier on when they could benefit from the rest. I think is kind of the mentality behind that. It's definitely different than what we're used to seeing. But I mean, gosh, like goaltender, I don't even understand like physically how you do that for hours on end, and then you go and you do it 24, 48 hours later. I don't get it.
Yeah. You don't realize they don't get shifts. They're just
Right.
on the whole time.
Yeah, they're just on skates, and they're like bow-legged, they got like they're not even standing right,
And they've got to have that attention the whole time, right? Because it could change on a dime.
That's the most mentally taxing position. I don't know. I mean, I would
I think
maybe
it might be in any sport.
like maybe like baseball catcher can be similar, but you still got a little bit more anticipation as a catcher, like when the pitch is coming.
They're still not catching. They're like up to bat or whatever. Like
right.
This is like
they're also calling the shots in a way, like they're
Yeah.
telling the pitcher what to do and
Yeah.
reading the play, whereas like the goalie's just kind of responding.
Yeah. And like goalies in other sports, I mean, soccer, it just, you get a little bit more of a wind up, most of the time. It's still very stressful and a lot of pressure, but But the anticipation level is at another level, I think, in hockey, just with how fast the game goes. So
I want to thank all these Twitch people that were in chat. I know
yes,
people don't know this in Twitch. When I'm doing the audio podcast, I'll chat with people in chat, but like I try
yeah,
to address because it's on 3 feeds at once and it's going to be an audio podcast. And I try to keep it to just like if someone had a question for the panel, I would bring it up. But I do appreciate all of you guys. We've had a really lively Twitch chat. So I'm super happy. We've got Houndoom in chat. He's a big XFL fan, and he's one of our kind of unofficial mascots. He wears a Deadpool outfit to all the XFL games, so it's cool to
That's
see
awesome.
and I know that he really wanted to go to the championship game. I forget if you're able to go to the championship game or you just got season tickets for next year, but I know he's a diehard fan. We got Fry in chat who says he's down in Florida right now and can confirm it is not a hockey town. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Oh, he's going. Yeah, Houndoom is going. I thought I remembered him saying that he's going. So I hope that he represents us well. So the game is in the Alamo Dome. Definitely there's a little bit of a home advantage the fact that there is a Arlington team in it because they're at least a Texas team. But like it kind of sucks because the South had 3 out of the 4 teams were Texas teams, so it was almost like guaranteed.
Oh no!
Got to turn the lights on. I'm being kicked out.
Closing time. It's just like playing. Turn out all the lights.
Oh man, we'll have to say that because Josh might not have been able to hear that while he was getting the lights back. But and Robbie, I was gonna say too, we've got a prediction in chat for the Stanley Cup final.
Okay.
Canes versus Knights.
Okay, there you go.
From Houndoom.
Nice. Canes versus Knights.
Wow.
Interesting. I could see that. I don't know. It'd be weird. I mean, obviously I hope it's Toronto, but like the Florida versus Canes, that was like an old rivalry in the Southeast Division. Like it'd be interesting to see what happens there, especially because you're trying to duck them earlier on.
Although
to play them in the end.
I will say, Robbie, we all know what the real rivalry was in the Southeast Division.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Capitals and the Hurricanes for sure.
True. It was.
Those were the 2 teams that were.
They're almost always the winner of
the year in and year out. It was pretty much those 2 teams. Tampa Bay hadn't really come into their own yet, although they had some great teams.
Tampa Bay did come in, and then they swept us in the second round, and I remember going to that game. So I can't talk too much shit about them, but like, Tampa Bay is a dangerous team, year in, year out. So.
That was back when, honestly, they were like my second favorite team back then. They had, Le Cavalier and Marty St. Louis, and they were pretty fun to watch back then. I think Marty St. Louis was just one of my favorites to watch.
It's just so undersized and able to do. He gives hope for the little guy, right? So
I resemble that remark.
So I do too. So I appreciate that very much. So I do want to give a scoring update. The Lakers are beating the Golden State Warriors 59-57 in a very close game for sure. In that one, it's tough because I was a big Kobe Bryant fan, so I like the Lakers in that time period. Obviously, the Wizards are my favorite team, but I kind of rooted for them as my secondary team after Michael Jordan left the Bulls and actually became a Wizard. And so it's tough because I'm not a LeBron James fan. I was a Kobe fan. Not, usually you're like one or the other, and so it's tough because now he's in the Lakers, but I don't know. The Warriors won it last year, and I like the underdog story of the Lakers. And I rooted for LeBron the year they were in the bubble because he was doing it for Kobe, and it was hard to be like, then it's a tough position. So it's a very interesting series for sure. And everyone thought Golden State would just kind of crush them, but I've just been super impressed by them. I know, Josh, that you follow some basketball. Do you continue to watch the NBA playoffs at all afterwards, or do you?
I haven't been as much this time. No, I've been very focused on the Leafs and hockey at this point. But
that makes sense.
I do remember the game with the Bulls and the Raptors that kind of sealed our fate for this year. which was really interesting because DeMar DeRozan was amazing, and his daughter definitely helped him out as far as those free throw shots went. But
Oh, no. I heard about
that
that. I
was
didn't see that
amazing.
live, but
I loved that.
I loved it, except for like some of the mean trolling online. I was like, come on, she's
Yeah.
a kid. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, you know.
You know, she's supporting her dad. Like at the end of the day, what are you gonna say? Like
Right,
that's,
yeah.
you know.
So it's been interesting, you know, watching both of these playoffs. It's been the first time in like 2 decades that Washington hasn't had one or the other, right? We've
Oh yeah.
always had one, you know, and in the couple of years we haven't had the Capitals, and it's been very few, only 2 out of the last 16 years, which I try to, Caps fans are, in a mode where they're like so upset. And I'm like, look, I mean, to make it 14 out of 16 years, you're going to take that. Like, you can't be too upset. And the last time we didn't make it, like 2 years later, we won the cup. So like, it's, it happens. You're not going to make it every year. It's hard. But it's been a long time since I've had neither to, look forward to, which has made it interesting to watch. Interesting. Knicks have never won a playoff series when down 3-1. That's an interesting stat they just put up there. So it's tough for my Knicks. I have a lot of friends that are Knicks fans, and I feel bad for them. But this, Miami team has been on fire. But all right, well, I think we've yammered about sports enough, but I do wanted to thank you both for joining and give any final shout outs for anything that you wanted to talk about before we raid out of here. I'll start off with you, Ryan.
I think I already got mine in a little bit earlier. So so thanks for having me. And Josh, it might have been our first time on the same
I think so.
together.
Yeah.
We've obviously seen each other quite a bit in different streams, but one of us is usually in the chat. So,
Absolutely.
so it was fun. It was a fun experience having you side by side this time.
Yeah.
Real
It's
time.
great getting to chat with you, man.
Yeah. And
Robbie,
Robbie,
thank you again for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks
for
so
sure. It's been
much.
fun. It's cool because I get to mod for you guys, but usually you guys are on the screen and I'm in chat. It's kind of fun to get to host you both and to do that. I mean, I raid this guy every time, but so it's not going to be a surprise to him. But we're going to raid over to somebody else that I mod for, which is Mr. KR Acoustic. I know that Josh is a big fan of his, and gets to actually get to watch him live. So I'm very jealous. I wish that I could live
amazing.
a car ride away. But
I need to see if I can pull together my clip. When KR rated us, I improvised like the brick in the wall, like his raid song, like he does.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I have to see if I can find the clip. It was pretty funny, actually. Not nearly as good as he does it, of course, but it was fun.
We got a lot of people in chat, so grab
a raid call, please.
Yeah,
it's really fun. You got to stick around for this raid song. It's like one of my
highly recommend it. I think almost everyone in chat has seen a KR raid, which is cool. And it's I definitely recommend it. So yeah, grab one of those. You've got the gold one or the Charizards. It's super fun show tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. KR is a ton of fun. Just stay for a song or two if you can. First time in the raid for KR, my eardrums. It's true. Be warned. He'll try to psych you out. It is a little late at night, so sometimes it's not as loud with mine. During the daytime, it's a very big jump scare. But I really thank everyone for tuning in and being a part of this. And we're gonna raid over to KR right now. Have a good one. We'll see you guys next week.